So we back again with my boy Aaron.
Yes, sir.
We was working at Towson for a few years, and he was working with them during COVID. So he gonna tell me. We gonna talk about how that was. So you was there when like COVID first happened, right? At the championship.
Yep.
So what happened?
So we were in the hotel getting ready to leave. Like, it was a game before us, so we were the second game. The two teams before us, they were warming up, and we're just in the hotel, getting dressed, the players are going through their game day routine, and everybody, putting on their suits, their jerseys and stuff. Next thing you know, probably 5 to 10 minutes before we get on the bus, Coach Rich gets the call from the commissioner. They shut down the whole tournament. And we had 8 seniors on that team, so
right.
Everybody, was emotional, crying. Yeah, it was tough, bro.
So was everybody? Was I'm saying like everybody's on social media, so it was like everybody was getting canceled. It was kind of like y'all knew it was gonna happen. It was kind of like just win.
Right now, so like leading up, like the couple days before the game, you could see like on SportsCenter other teams withdrawn, and then the night before was the whole incident with Rudy Gobert and the Jazz.
Okay.
And in the NBA, they had canceled.
Yeah.
Then the very next day was when the CAA tournament got shut down. So, like I was sitting in the room with Sosa.
Mm-hmm.
He was my roommate on that trip, and we were watching ESPN, and I was literally telling him, I was like, hey, bro, if any of those Power 5 conferences like the ACC, Big Ten, SEC, if any of them shut down, we're going to shut down too, because we're a lesser conference, you know what I'm saying? So, literally, right when I said that, like 30 seconds later, Miles walked in, and he broke the news to us. Yep, it was canceled.
So after that, what kind of happened with like basketball and stuff? Like that season, I know that season was kind of like canceled. So like, did y'all just like go home?
Yeah, we literally hopped on the bus and went home. We didn't even. We flew there, so we had to take the bus back because essentially it was like losing because we never played.
Right.
So we took the bus back home. 6-hour drive from Elon, and then
Elon's in North Carolina, right?
Yep, Elon, North Carolina. Yep, 6-hour drive. We got back at like 10 that night. Unloaded the bus and everybody went home. People moved out of Millennium.
Like home?
Yeah, and I know for a fact I went home the very next day. Like I moved out of Millennium, went back to PG County, and I was living at home. So it was an adjustment just dealing with that, because I went from living in an apartment by myself to back at home with my parents. So I mean, I'm pretty sure like a lot of the players experienced that. Like Chris and Tilly, they're international students. They couldn't go home. They had to stay here the entire quarantine.
Dang.
So yeah, it was crazy times.
So when did so the new season started, so how was that?
We actually started the new season pretty well. It was a lot of new faces. So when I walked back in, like to practice for the first time, it was definitely weird, like not seeing Kaya and Q, like the usuals. But the energy was different. Like from the jump, it was like everybody wanted to work and everybody was there for a reason. And we started off the season really well. Like I think we started off like 5-1 or 6-1. It was something like that. We started off really well. Our only loss early was the UMD. And at that time, we didn't know what to expect because it was like so many new players. We were starting a freshman with Ali, and then Aaliyah, point guard, was a transfer. And even though she's a sophomore, she was essentially a freshman because she didn't really play much her freshman year. So it was really like not really surprising because of like the standards of our program, but it was just good to see them coming out like on a strong note. You know what I mean? So
like, since I know we was practice players, scout players, did it feel any different this year being a scout player?
I don't think it was. Actually, it was a lot different now that I think about it, because we didn't have any scout guys, bro.
For real?
Like it was literally just me and Miles, and then all the coaches, and then we would pick up like Maggie or Tess, like, we would rotate some players in, but we literally didn't have any scout guys just because of COVID. We couldn't bring anybody on.
Was it like, but they were scared kind of, or just kind of like they didn't really know people's moves?
Really, it was just the rules. Like, technically, I barely was able to
Right.
get finessed into
Okay.
doing it. You had to be tier 1. You had to get tested every day along with the athletes. So
How was that?
I mean, it was terrible. I can probably count. We probably got tested at least 200 times this season. It was weeks where we got tested 5 to 6 times.
So did you do it yourself or they did it for you?
We were administered the tests by ourselves for most of them. I think we only had maybe 2 or 3 tests where they did it for us. But all the tests here on campus, we do them ourselves. And I think the only ones like the CAA tournament, they did it for us, and then maybe UMD did it for us.
So did you have to practice with the mask on?
Yeah, we practiced with the mask
Even
on.
you?
Yep.
So how was that?
It was weird. Like, it took me a good 2 weeks to actually get used to it. I would like pull it down a little bit just so I could breathe, and then pull it up when I get around people.
Yeah.
But it was definitely weird. It's like restricting. Like, it's so hard to
like
breathe.
Endurance and stuff.
Yeah, because you're already tired, and then you just want to breathe in like quality air. But I have this mask like right there blocking all the air. It's tough, and like I could see like those problems coming in my videos too, because like I shot a video on my phone the other day, one of the workout videos, and Allie had her mask down a little bit, and I had to take the video down just because of that. And it's like, she's the only one working out, but I mean, the rules are weird, but you know, we just got to do what we got to do, you know, to get the job done.
So how was traveling and stuff?
Traveling was cool. We flew majority of our places. We wore double masks in the airports. Traveling was different because like we couldn't eat on the bus just because of close contact. So you wouldn't have your mask on, and it's like, you know, 15, 20 people on the bus. It was different though. You know, just everything is different. You know, everything has to follow certain protocols. You know, making sure everybody's, you know, keeping up with their hygiene and using hand sanitizer, washing their hands, making sure like nobody's coughing and sneezing on each other. You know, stuff like that.
Do you ever sanitize a lot? Like, was it a lot of sanitation during practice and stuff?
Bro, we had like this big hand sanitizer like right there by the scorer's table. In CQ Arena, there's multiple of them. Like, there's like 5 to 7 of them all over the place. We would like me, Jazz, and Miles will always keep some in our book bag just in case. I would always be hand sanitizing. Like, it'll be random times I would just wash my hands. I'd be like, nah, let me just use some real quick. You know,
for real.
I touched the door, I'm gonna use it. Like, just being aware of that stuff was just different.
So with your pictures and videos and stuff, was that different too?
Definitely, because one, there's no fans in the arena, so normally I'm sitting down, you know, just in one spot, or I'll move around a little bit throughout the game. But now the whole gym is available to me, and there aren't many people who are allowed the tier 1 privilege. So
so you were tier 1?
Yeah, I was tier 1, so I was one of the few photographers at every game. Like, I was doing work for TSN. I was getting highlights for them because sometimes they couldn't travel. And then like I would look around, I always noted like if the team we were playing, if they were having like a cameraman, a lot of them didn't. Like some of them would have like their school cameramen, like the broadcasters and stuff, but it would be UMD had like a couple extra camera people, but a lot of the schools didn't have them. Like, it would be times where I'll be in there by myself and I'm recording, I'm cheering the team on, you know. And like, it was one time I was talking to somebody and from another team, and they're like, yo, why can you go on the court and like I can't? And I'm tier 1, bro. I get tested the same amount of times as the players. They're like, oh, I only get tested on Saturdays, like once a week. So then I'm like, well, that's the difference. Like, they won't allow you to come on the court because you've only been tested once, whereas I got tested 4 or 5 times that week. They allowed me to, you know, be on the baseline, be in the coach's.
So you were court side, like on the court.
I was
like
on
always,
the court, always. Like,
so you had like it was like a tier 1, like a lanyard you had.
Like a lanyard, and then Like one time, one of the refs, they didn't know I was tier 1. I had touched the ball.
Oh, okay.
And they were like, "Nah, we got to swap out the ball to
Right.
wipe it off and stuff." And I'm like, "No, I'm good. I'm tier 1." Like,
Okay.
yeah. And then
So the rest were tier 1 too then?
Yep.
Okay.
Everybody who is accessible to the players or like in close context, everybody had to be tier 1.
Okay.
But if you were able to be like 6 feet away or like not even on the court, like you're on the upper levels, you didn't have to be tier 1.
Was it weird having no fans?
Definitely. Seeing a bunch of like cutouts in the stands.
yeah.
And the fake crowd noise.
Yeah.
That was so weird. But I mean, it's interesting because like for me, I'm a true hooper. So at the end of the day, like the game still has to be played. But one thing I did love about it is that you could hear everything. You could hear all the trash talk from the players going on. You could hear the coaches like calling out the plays and the mismatches and the matchups and stuff.
So it was still trash talking from the players?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like,
okay.
It'd be times they'll hit a 3 and they'd be like, "Step up! Or you better put a hand up." Like, you know what I mean? And you can hear all of that.
Yeah,
so at the same time I'm doing my videos, I could hear that too. So, and then even like me being the basketball lover that I am, it'll be times where Aaliyah or Melo may score and I'm hyped, and I can literally hear myself in the video, and then I'll replay it while I'm editing, and I'm just laughing because like I'm over here acting a fool. It's one time we were playing JMU, Maggie hit a corner 3, and I'm literally on the sideline running alongside Maggie. I'm so hyped recording. I'm like, let's go.
That's tough.
So it's like things like that. When I was watching the highlights of the game from the TSN, you can literally see me. Like, you can see me running with them. And it's like, without fans, I could do that. But, you know, with fans, they're, you know, security will be like, "Nah, sit down or stay in this one area or whatever." But it was different. I was all over the place courtside this year.
So as a hooper, have you hooped recently?
Besides like practicing with the team, I haven't really been home enough to you know like play 5-on-5 with my friends I haven't really found a gym.
Okay. So this last question, how has COVID impacted you with this basketball wise? It's impacted me a lot because I realized like I needed to do something to occupy my time, especially during quarantine. So when it first started, I started a clothing brand, and then I had made the pilot episode for my podcast. But then after all of that happened, that's when I really wanted to get back into doing photography and my videography. And then they allowed me to come back and film their games this season. And COVID just made me like realize like life still goes on, you know what I mean? Like it may stop for a brief moment, but you still gotta find your way and find something, you know, to keep pushing yourself and keep moving forward in life. Cause like it's crazy. COVID's still here.
It is like it's been a whole year and some change, and nothing is really changed for. I mean, vaccinations are, which is good, but like we're still going through it. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's been a tough mental test for, you know, everybody, whether it's you know just
the players.
Players, because players didn't go home this season. You know, normally they could go home whenever, or their family can come to the games and see them. There's no fans, so their families weren't able to come to the games. And think about the freshmen, like T-Max from Florida.
Right.
She hasn't been home all year.
Or she's experienced college for real.
And that's another thing, like everybody's like, man, college sucks, but college doesn't really suck. It's just there's nothing to do right now. Like you go to practice, then you come home, you go to online school, and then you chill with your teammates because
that's it.
Yeah,
it's
you can't chill.
You probably
with
can't even go out for real.
There's nowhere to go. You can't bring people into where you live in because of COVID. So it's a sticky situation.
It's real different. Well, we're gonna wrap this up. My boy Aaron, we talked about Towson hooping. We're gonna see you on the next one.